You've been serving everyone, yet being served the least. Not anymore. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the moments of Zen and the femme-focused radio shows that I did in Gaborone, Botswana. It was a pleasure to be there. I'm honored, and just know that it's more to come. On today's episode, we're talking about the workshop, finally, Gain Confidence and Transform Your Life, Interactive Empowerment Workshop in Gaborone, Botswana. So, 2 episodes ago, I told you guys about me getting the sponsorship and how I was so happy about it. The night before, let's just talk about it. The night before, I emailed everyone a reminder, wanted them to show up early, to dress pretty, and get ready to interact. And, because I felt so prepared, I felt it was only right for me to go out the night before, right? My time is coming to an end in Botswana, and I wanted to celebrate properly. I knew I was prepared, so it was only right to do so. And so I woke up, and you got to know that when you're doing events like this, or doing a workshop, that things are always bound to go wrong. Like starting with my assistant not showing up on time. Now, I told him he better show up on time or it's the end of him. And he was aware of that as well. He said, I'm going to show up or else. And so the day of, he was not there on time. I said, be at my house at 7 a.m. because the cab comes at 7:30. Now, let's talk about the cab. So I had planned the cab like 4 days before. I said, hey, I need you to show up on time because I have this big event. And, he said, I'm going to be there for you. I know how important it is to you. But guess what? When I called him about an hour in advance, he was also unavailable, said that his car was not working and that I need to find another driver. And I'm just thinking to myself, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I prepare all the time. So I did not like this, but I'm used to just doing what I need to do. So I said, give me another number of a cab, and called one, and he was at my house like within 20 minutes. So it all ended up working out well on the cab end. And so I was still prepared and ready to go. Now, my close friend also showed up on time. He was also acting as my assistant that day. And because he does know me and known me for 3 years now, he was there right at 7 a.m. Keep in mind, they also, my 2 assistants had got emailed and WhatsApp the information of their duties of the day of the workshop as well. Again, you have to be extremely prepared when you're doing an event of this caliber, because it is all about the feedback that you get afterwards that's going to take you to the next level. So he showed up. I got finished getting dressed, had my wig ready, my clothes laid out, everything ready to go. And so we proceeded to the hotel. Now, when I got to the hotel, it's a beautiful hotel, Avani, outside overlooking the water, beautiful landscaping. And so I was like, let's do this. And so I knew that I was about to drive the staff crazy. All kinds of things, like wanting to make sure it was clean, making sure we had water. I had sponsorship for champagne. I needed a gift table. I need to make sure we all had coffee and tea, all these things. And again, the continent, Africa, Botswana moves at a slower pace. And so they were looking at me crazy like, okay. I showed up at 7:45. The event didn't start till 9 a.m. because I knew I would need that much time to talk to them politely, give them their time to do the duties so that they wouldn't be mad at me. Well, congratulations. They all was mad at me. You could just see the venom in their eyes, but I didn't care. I knew what my purpose was, and that was to make sure that I held these women in high regard. So it did not matter what was happening at this time. Now, my second assistant, he finally shows up. And so, again, he knew his duties, especially the ending duties, which consisted of making sure that we got images of myself teaching, to make sure that we also got video testimonials, and that people were hydrated. The women were hydrated the entire event. So he came right in. He was sorry about it. And so we went right to work. Now, I emailed these ladies and said, you need to show up on time, because again, being on the continent, that's not something that is favored a lot. So we did that, and The first guest showed up at around 8:45 a.m., which I was very happy about because I knew we were on to something. And so I was happily, ready to ask her what was her coffee order. I introduced myself. And so it just was all starting out really, really great. And she looked very pretty because the attire, I told them, I said, dress, pick out the prettiest outfit in your closet and then wear it. Because in Botswana, a lot of times they do like to have a dress code. But to me, I found that to be, hard to follow because people are more worried about making sure that they fit the dress code as opposed to getting ready for the event that's going to ultimately empower them and or change their life. So I didn't want to do that. Say, everyone, just go in your closet, pick the prettiest outfit, and then we will go from there. And so now people started to show up. I'm very happy that a lot of people showed up right at 9 o'clock, and they were okay with mingling because they had their coffee orders. I knew that would be able to buy some time instead of them playing on their phones and getting disinterested before the event even started. And so around, I want to say somewhere between 9:20 and 9:30 we started because we had a nice amount of people there and I was ready to go. I knew that this workshop really took a while, quite a few hours, and so I wanted to show up for the people who showed up on time as well. So in doing that, we started off with an icebreaker, which, I just wanted to, again, ease the ladies into this workshop and get them comfortable. So the icebreaker consisted of writing questions and passing it to the next person, to them so that they could answer the question. And so I found this to be very entertaining. The women found this to be entertaining also. And people were laughing and getting relaxed. And then also, I said I wanted to be lighthearted. They could ask any kind of question they wanted. But some women had some very deep questions about their purpose, about transformation, things like that. And I was like, whoa, we're starting pretty deep already. So, very happy to get that going as well. So we ended up doing introductions. And let me just tell you, you guys, they had me crying at the introductions. And so we had people go around and ask these questions, answer them. And some of them were deep. Some of them were, not as deep, just really funny. And so introductions were all about my two assistants, Roy and Lorenzo, getting up there and introducing me. And it was really, really amazing because they called me their mentor. They spoke of my good graces. They spoke about just working with me and how it has transformed their lives, how they now have a vision for their life and how they're moving in that way. And, it really felt good to be appreciated. One of the things in my life, I just haven't been affirmed and appreciated as much. And so I was beginning to be overwhelmed and holding back the tears in the very beginning. So the introduction went really well. And my friend Lorenzo introduced me and I was ready to go. Now, once I got up to the stage or in front of everyone, it was time to tell my story. And so I knew where I wanted to start. I always started when I passed out at a club in 2018, which is when I went on to realize that I had fibroids and a whole bunch of other realizations after that. I started to tell my story, which again, I've told so many times throughout social media, talking with people all over the place. But everyone knows that it started out falling out at a club, chronic health conditions, oppressive work career, tumultuous relationship with my mom and family members. The story that I told, which was my truth, my point of view, women are starting to cry. I did not know that they would start crying right away. I had no idea. I knew that activity 1 was going to be deep, but I had no idea that in telling my story that we needed to break out the tissue right away. I also told my two assistants, because they're two men, I told them in advance, I said, activity 1 is going to be pretty deep. So I want you guys to move out of the way when we start, because I want the women to have a safe space to be vulnerable, to talk about the very, very traumatic parts of their life if they chose to do that. And so the guys told me later on that they had to run away just in the introduction, that even before activity one, that they saw that it was getting real. And it made me laugh, but also I knew that transformation was about to happen. I knew that self-awareness and what happened to people was going to stir inside of them and get them going. I just didn't think it was going to start from my story. So that is what happened in that experience. Now, once I told my story, which again, they crying, I'm pulling out the tissue, I got tears in my eyes, I'm thinking that I could hold it in, and I didn't boo-hoo cry, but I knew I had to be professional and keep it going. So they were watery, but I still held my own. So we get to activity one, and activity one is all about self-awareness, past relationships, just past events. What happened to you? This is the opportunity to tell your story. And so in telling your story, this is also interactive. So they're talking with the people at the table with them, answering their questions. So it was a group of questions. And through me telling my story, gave them an idea of how they should be tapping into their questions. And they were to talk to people at their table so that they can be more expressive. They can really get it out instead of like a blanket statement. Now, one of the ladies, I went up to her because one table wasn't talking as much. They just seemed about business, really quiet. And I said to them, like, oh, why aren't you guys talking? Like, what's going on? One of the women was like, I'm a woman of very few words, I'm good. And I was like, okay, I see she still needs to get a little relaxed. And the other tables were pretty talkative, and it was really a good thing to see. If it made me feel really good. So when I recap with the ladies and said, let me know what's showing up for y'all and what are y'all talking about, they proceeded to talk to me about forgiveness and forgiving of themselves so they can get into a better space and place, so they can gain some peace in their life. Because oftentimes when we don't forgive ourselves and give ourselves grace, like we're holding it in, and it's this anxiety that builds up, and we can't really just kind of like let go. The woman who I had asked earlier, who said she was a woman of very few words, she began to raise her hand to express herself. And when I tell y'all, she couldn't get a few words out without crying. So again, here we go. We crying again. What are we going to do? Get the tissue, because it's getting real in here. And other people were tearing up too. Talking about their situations. But I knew that this was going to be the deepest part of the workshop. And so even with the music that I had as the undertone of the event, started off very soft, and then we picked it up as the activity went on. But I wanted to have that space and that place. But let me just tell you, it was a really incredible emotional experience going right into activity one. And now we get to activity two, which is, into the dreaming zone, which is that radical level of faith that I also talk about. And in this part of the activities, we focus on what I call the high achievers method. And I got the high achievers method from working with celebrities because they are some of the highest of achievers, especially sports athletes, because it's that radical level of belief. And so I began to ask them questions like, what do you want in your life? Why do you want it? What is the impact? What are the stakes? And came to a few realizations, and is that people don't really include people in their vision for their life, and they also don't think about what they want to do for the rest of their life. They're thinking about now or something that they want to see happen in the next few years, but what about for the rest of your life? Because that also lends itself to your purpose. Because what I know from doing this work is that you got to enjoy every day as you're working in your purpose, because it's probably going to take your whole life to fulfill it. And so people didn't really think long term about it, and they never really included people, even though they had children or they might have, important people in their life. They wouldn't even include people like a dog. Like if they had a dog now, it's like, is the dog there later? And so that radical level of belief lended themselves to them saying that I'm a free spirit. And call it whatever you want. I was flattered by that comment, because what it seemed like is, as we're getting into this idea of gaining confidence, this free spirit lended itself to, you must be confident to go into this level of belief, because you're talking about things and desires of your heart that you cannot see, that you cannot fathom. And I'm telling them to go ahead and do it. Again, in my personal story, I've already entered the dreamy zone, that radical level of belief, and I wanted them to see that it's realistic for them. And so again, finding their purpose, something they want to do for the rest of their life, was an area of opportunity. So a lot of them were in the beauty industry, which is really great because I'm in the beauty industry, but they did not see beyond a couple of years. And so when you don't do that, you got to know that you're not going to make as much money as you want, because you're really not thinking bigger about this thing that you want to do. Because again, when you move in purpose, it not only enhances your life, it enhances the person next to you, and it also ultimately enhances the world. And so I wanted them to understand that what they do, what they're doing now, and the culmination of their life is going to lend itself to their purpose, and how it's going to change lives on a global scale. The other thing in activity 2 is that they didn't want to, or they were hesitant to add a dollar amount to this goal and this vision that they have for their life. Which again, you have to write the vision and make it plain. So what does that look like in dollars? How much do you want to make? And that was just not on their mind. And so I had to really use examples from my personal life to show them how to do that. And I do this through a formula that I use to basically say that I believe that women are playing small 65% of the time. And we talked about ways in which they can go about getting to the number that they deserve, and seeing it higher than they've ever seen it before. The other thing is, again, they didn't really include personal goals. So even though they have kids, a lot of them were, even if they had a job or a career, they were also doing entrepreneurial things. And so when they were doing the entrepreneurial things, which is the thing that they really want to do, they didn't add personal goals to it. And so again, giving them examples of, my experience of, hey, I want to be able to make all this money so that I can be able to give my nieces and nephews whatever they want when they want it. And they were like, wow, that's very clear. And it's not just like, oh, I want to have money, I want to be seen, I want to be valued, I want to get this car, I want to be able to have this house. No, I want to be able to make sure that my nieces and nephews are taken care of. Or another example of, I love to have the heat on because I love being cozy. So one of my personal goals is, no matter how much my heat bill is, I want to be able to pay it with ease. Because back in the day, that was hard for me to do with my limited funds, and then also living in a house with parents who would not have the heat up as high as I want. And I found myself, as my friend would say, getting dressed to go to sleep. So activity 2 was huge, into the dreamy zone, the higher achievers method, that radical level of belief. And then we got into activity 3, which continued on into the dreamy zone. But it's all about the third principle, which is everything you need is everything you have. And this is all about what is your personal and career capital. Also, we're assessing your habits. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? So again, this gives you value into like how you show up for yourself every day. So I have my hierarchy of personal freedom, which is the pathway to freedom through resilience and daily habits. And so I wanted them to get real with themselves about all that they've done, the culmination of their personal value, personal and career capital. And then also, how do we create better habits to take us into the dreamy zone, knowing that this is going to build your resilience and walk you into confidence as well as transformation. So activity 3 was all about everything you need is everything you have. And so again, that was pretty exciting because I don't think they were ready for the work that was required in doing that, right? You could set some goals, but are you going to show up for yourself? And so activity 4 was all about the resources. And at this time, the event is going over by like a half an hour because the food people wasn't ready. And I'm a time management girl. So I'm just like, where is this food? Why are we waiting? But we took time out while we were waiting on the food to take some pictures in the lawn and do some video because I had a videographer there. And so it ended up working out, right? Everything always works out because he had to leave early. So it was perfect that we had a couple of minutes to do that. So when we sat back down, we ate for a while. The team got to sit down and relax a little bit. I didn't sit down because I'm not used to sitting down. I work on production sets for 12 hours a day or more. So I have the stamina and I knew what I was in for. And so we had some really great food because in Botswana, they love meat. And so we had a lot of meat. But get into activity 4, which is the last activity, which is the resources. This is like, what are you going to do to get so good, right? To master your craft, to show up for yourself, to hold yourself in high regard. And so I gave them a slew of resources that all helped me and transform my life. These are also resources that I use to work with my personal clients in the 2 years that I've been working with clients already. And I told them that they will be getting a follow-up email so that they don't have to worry about writing it all down, that I got them covered. I'm going to take care of them. Also, I had 4 sponsors, one of which who was a mindfulness coach, and they got to get 45-minute consultations with her personally, which I thought was an extreme honor to have her be able to lend her services, as well as in keeping up with daily habits and going along with the hierarchy of personal freedom. Your physical health is really important, so we made sure that we got them a gym membership that they could take advantage of and discount on the membership should they decide to join after their free week. And again, this gym is a gym that hardly pass out anything for free. So when people found out I had that, they were really excited and like, wow, how did you do that? So, but again, my goal was to hold these women in high regard and transform their life even in a few hours. So, event is over. We are on the lawn taking pictures, getting testimonials, because I told my assistants, this is what you need to accomplish at this event, because I'm all about building assets. I'm also about getting my brand authority together, because I know that this is going to help me in the next country. But also, when you know that you're doing something really great, you don't want people to just tell you you're good. No, go out there and tell the world so that they know when Patent Leather Project comes to them, that they know that their lives is going to be transformed. That the thing that I said I'm going to do, which is help you gain confidence and transform your life, that's what I did. And so we did that through getting video testimonials. It was amazing. I got the champagne. We toasted it up on the lawn. It was a beautiful experience. You can go to my Instagram if you want to take a look at that. It is there for you to view. And so here's some of my final thoughts. And what some of the ladies said. They said they felt very vulnerable. They felt triggered, but they also felt empowered and ready to show up for themselves. And I know that this is about truth and accountability, because I started this business saying that you can't, have reconciliation without truth and accountability. Reconciliation is to reconcile with yourself. It's to surrender and create a new vision for your life. And so because the words vulnerable and triggered were there, that's the truth and the accountability. The being empowered and the showing up for themselves is the confidence and the transformation. Mission accomplished. I was so happy about that. And keep in mind, throughout the entire event, I was crying. I was a wreck also. This is my first event. I had worked with women, personally, so they had told me what I was doing well and things like that, but it's on a smaller scale. It's one-on-one. But to be in a room of these ladies who did not know me prior and trusted me to come into their country and spoke nothing but my good graces, told me that this is the best workshop they've ever been to, told me that because it's interactive, that it was a game changer for them, that they also had specific steps to get started to continue to elevate their careers. I was just overwhelmed. And so I cried for about 24 hours because I myself at the end of this event felt empowered. I was affirmed, and I felt confident about my next step too. So I'm still gaining confidence and transforming my life. It's just at a different level as these ladies. But that doesn't mean that I am without having to continue to practice and do the work myself. And so I knew what I came here to do. And at the end of this event, I said, mission accomplished, a job well done. So after all of that was done, I'm tired. It's 5 hours. I done stood up the whole time. I done talked. I done worked. And so we ended with, again, taking those pictures, drinking champagne. We also handed out gift bags. Y'all, I gave out fresh juice, mango orange juice from one of the supermarkets here. That's my favorite supermarket. I went up to them and said, I want fresh juice. Because in the spirit of changing and transforming your life, creating new habits, also what you put in your body matters too. So it was some other goodies in the bag, but the best thing in the bag for me was the mango orange juice that was fresh squeezed for this lady. Again, I'm not playing. High regard, self-love. Let me show you better than I could tell you. And then after we finished, got in the cab, went back to my apartment, recapped with my 2 assistants. We laughed for about 45 minutes. They gave me some behind the scenes and told me that, the staff was all around the event. One of my friends was like, get the hell away. You didn't pay. And I was just cracking up because it really goes to show you that, everyone felt transformed. The whole energy shifted. Those same people who were mad at me and were giving me venom in the beginning, one of the women came up to me and she said, I see what you're doing now. I see why you were relentless in getting us to give you the things that you said you wanted. And, they were like, I need to work on myself. I need to change my life. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you're a believer now. You was going crazy on me, but now you're a believer. But I knew that would happen. I knew that they would feel that. So that's why as uncomfortable as it may seem for me to do that, I knew the impact that it would have, not just on these women, but everyone who got to be a part or got to witness or got to just take a view of this workshop. So I was honored that they came up to me and told me how impactful it was for them. And then they didn't really bother me. Anything I said I wanted, they got it. Besides the restaurant people getting the food delayed, everyone else was ready to go. That water was coming out like nobody's business. The champagne was ready to go. And so, I'm just so grateful. Now, that's the event. I went through it really fast, but just know that Gain Confidence, Transform Your Life interactive empowerment workshop is going all over the world. So you'll get to get an intimate look at what those activities look like, how you can gain confidence and transform your life, how you can show up for yourself and hold yourself in the highest regard. And whether you're going to come to my workshop, you're going to be a part of your corporate and going in and doing team building, doing your retreats, vision planning, or my own personal workshop for you guys. This is the method to my madness. So I'm not done yet. I'm just getting started. And so look out for more workshops. If you want to get in the inside and go through the 8 steps to personal freedom, online coaching is available for you. Okay. I do offer Gain Confidence and Transform Your Life as an 8-week group coaching program designed for high achieving women who want to overcome fear, anxiety, and doubt by rediscovering themselves so they can make healthier decisions, structure their business, and live life on their own terms. Basically, do what you want to do. I help you understand how your belief systems, your thought patterns, and emotional reactions control your mindset, your career opportunities, and overall relationships. And I do this while holding you in the highest regard and helping you to make the most money you've ever made. That is what happened at that workshop. And trust me, women were after me right after, and they received a coaching invitation. But know that you cannot stop there at the workshop. Transformation takes a while, but I am here to support you. We are here to support you and empower you. Choose group coaching with Patent Leather Project today. You can go to info@patentleatherproject.com to let me know you're interested and you want to get on board. Now, like I said, This workshop is going everywhere, and we're going to be at your office. So for small, mid-sized, and big level companies, get at me, because I help you guys develop your corporate identity and branding using these mental health strategies and business strategic planning. Yes, we are still helping you gain confidence and transform your life, because I empower you to build your confidence and work towards the vision and mission of your company while also looking at personal pursuits. You must be able to have a life that you feel good about and that you feel like working towards your purpose. You feel like working towards every day for the rest of your life. And so I help you get in position for that. Again, info@petandleatherproject.com. Also, you just listened to 2 episodes of the media appearances. I was on the radio talking about the 8 steps to personal freedom, talking about the workshop. Know that there's more. You guys can invite me on your TV, radio, podcast platform, whatever you want it to be. I'm here. I'm ready. Okay, I am ready to help you and to empower your listeners. I am in it to win this for the rest of my life. So again, media appearances, info@petandleatherproject.com. And lastly, you guys can always catch me giving out some free gems throughout social media. Catch me mostly on Instagram at Latoya Deshawn, LatoyaDeshaun. You can also find me on YouTube, Everything on Purpose with Latoya Deshawn, the same as the podcast. And then also know that this all really happened through the culmination of my career, but definitely me being a makeup artist to high profile talent, which I still do. So for people who want to hire me to work with your high profile talent, because I work with the highest achievers in the world internationally, you may go look at my portfolio at www.latoyadeshawn.com. I am here. You can fly me to go support your client. Trust me, I'm helping them to gain confidence and transform their life just the same. They are human beings just like us, just on a higher scale. And what they want the most when they are on these big stages is for someone to treat them like a human being. Know that I'm that person. I'm ready to serve. Other than that, I appreciate you guys. Look out for the next episode.